It's time. Twitter crossed the line. Let's do something about it. If you haven't seen it yet, the New York Post decided to release emails that contain Hunter Biden's dealings in Ukraine with Burisma. And apparently, Twitter and even Facebook did not think that that was appropriate. Twitter straight up blocked the URL from the New York Post and suspended anyone who decided they were going to tweet that out. This includes Trump's campaign Twitter account, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, and on top of that, the Senate Judiciary Committee, an actual government account. They blocked it for sharing the post. They straight up censored the Senate Judiciary Committee for the post. Now, Twitter's excuse for this was that the New York Post got this through hacking, though they have provided zero evidence to that matter. Twitter was apparently so concerned with the way that the New York Post got the information, yet it didn't seem to care when the New York Times got its hands on Trump's tax returns, which you could only have gotten that information illegally. Yet, go figure, Twitter was completely fine with that information circulating around its website. In response to this, Ted Cruz issued a subpoena to Jack. He's going to call him in and make him answer for what he did.
The Senate Judiciary Committee wants to know what the hell is going on. Chairman Lindsey Graham and I have discussed this at length, and the committee today will be noticing a markup on Tuesday to issue a subpoena to Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee next Friday.
And wouldn't you know it, Twitter has thrown their position into full reverse suddenly. Jack released a tweet that said straight blocking of URLs was wrong and we updated our policy and enforcement to fix. Our goal is to attempt to add context and now we have capabilities to do that. Straight blocking of URLs is wrong now. Tell that to BitChute, Jack. Now the question floating around is, what do we do now? Well, so far, we've done nothing. Outside of stern looks and hard questions, Republican lawmakers have done pretty much jack all in order to make this stuff stop. But I don't necessarily blame them. We on the right have this hang-up when it comes to government interfering in business at all. The private sector is more or less untouchable when it comes to our principles. But what we need to remember at this point is that this has gone way beyond the free market. These big tech companies are now a monopoly, and monopolies are not free market. Monopolies are perversions of free market principles, and conservatives should be against that wholesale. The internet and social media companies have abused the free market for so long. In fact, Tucker Carlson back in 2018 put it really well what we should do with these big tech companies before it becomes too late.
Are you someone that looks at this and says, hey, maybe the government needs to scrutinize this? Like, what's the next step?
I wouldn't say scrutinize it. I would say break up the companies immediately.
That's more than scrutiny, right?
On trial.
Yeah,
that's what I feel that way. Right. Google on searches is literally a monopoly.
Like 90% plus, 95%
Yes, and they
plus.
all have carve-outs from the Congress that allow them to pretend they're
and
not.
they're taking all of our personal information and they're warehousing it and using it for their
right. They're not even American companies. I mean, these are multinationals who are owned. A lot of them are owned by sovereign wealth funds of nations that hate us. So why are they not a threat to democracy? Well, obviously they are. Where are all the conservatives who are supposed to be protecting like normal people? They're like, well, it's the market. If you just throw the term free market at a conservative, it's like kryptonite to Superman. It's like, no, I'm melting. Stop, free market. I'm not against that.
So what we should do is, step one, break these companies up. For instance, Google has over 90% of the market share of searches worldwide. It's so powerful that its name is literally a verb. And I have probably forgotten more articles I've written about its abuses than I can remember. And the abuses don't just belong to Google. You have Apple, Twitter, Facebook, all of these companies abuse their position so badly. The House Judiciary Committee itself released a memo that actually detailed some of the ways that these companies, Facebook, Twitter, Google, all use their powers to create a monopoly for themselves. Facebook goes around hoovering up any company that might pose a threat to it by acquiring it. Google did much the same when it acquired AdMob and DoubleClick in order to corner the market on searches and advertising. These companies have gotten so big that you cannot access anything on the internet, be it a search result or something from a store, without first going through them somehow. They have become the internet. So maybe Tucker is right and it's time to break these companies up. The other thing that we can do is perfect Section 230. Now, according to a statement released by Ajit Pai, just recently, this is already underway. So what is Section 230? It's basically the 26 words that created the internet. And those words are: no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker for any information provided by another information content provider. In other words, internet providers, or in this case social media companies, can't be held responsible for what their users put on their sites. Now, Section 230 was created back in 1996 after Jordan Belfort, famous from Wolf of Wall Street, tried to sue internet company Prodigy for some information that had leaked about his company Stratton Oakmont. I'll give you a guess as to what that information was. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you probably should go see it. It's pretty good. But politicians at the time saw that the internet would never take off if it was constantly being sued into oblivion, and so they created Section 230 to protect it. Under Section 230, the only reason that a company would take down anything was if it violated its terms of service, and it was supposed to be done in good faith. But now companies hide behind it as a way to delete things that they don't like from ideologies they don't agree with, and they claim to do this in the name of a free and open internet and a way to keep discourse civil and non-violent. Apparently, deleting doctors making videos about their take on the coronavirus is violent, but hey, an Antifa member can actually post your address online, and that's okay to Facebook. We figure out how to do these two things as a start, and perhaps the internet will get better. Maybe. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and be sure to give this video a like. See ya.